What would you do if you were a boxer and then you broke your back and they told you you're never going to walk again? What would you do? Well, to find out what DJ Kick It did, you definitely have to listen to this episode. DJ Kick It. She's a DJ, motivational speaker, amazing human that gives back, who has an incredible, inspiring story. I have the privilege of being able to call DJ Kick It a friend, familia. We were in a mastermind cohort with Wendy Amata, who I've had here on as a guest. And through that, I've learned her inspiring story of being an award-winning, prize-winning boxer, breaking her back, was told she couldn't walk, and then what happened for her to get to the other side, and how she's motivating folks either via music or her spoken word as a motivational speaker. And she makes me cry. I cry in this episode because of something that she said to me, because hip hop just means that much to us both. We got the same birthday, kids, 10 years apart, Taurus gang gang. And yes, I think you are going to be inspired and motivated by DJ Kick It. So here she is. Hola. Welcome to Word to Your Mama, the podcast that amplifies diverse voices and celebrates shared experiences. Hosted by me, Ritzy P., a Latina creative entrepreneur with a background in art, music, and new web technologies. From Academy and Emmy winners to activists, artists, and builders, we celebrate the rich diversity of my multicultural tribe. There will be special guests, mad laughs, and absolutely no BS. Word to Your Mama drops every Monday on your favorite podcast platform. DJ Kick It!
Yeah. Beep, 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 beep. Can't have DJ intro without the air horns.
I know.
Beep, beep, beep. Yeah. That's right. That's right. That's right.
How are you? ¿Cómo estás? What's the word on the street?
Man, I'm good. I feel blessed. I just ate, so I'm no longer hangry.
Oh,
But I'm
good
good.
thing.
I'm good. I feel blessed, man. How about you? I see you
I'm
out there DNCing, all that good stuff. I'm like, go friend. Go friend.
Gracias,
Yeah.
gracias. Yeah, no, it's been busy, but we've been trying to have this convo and different things. Life has been lifing, but
Man, yeah.
we're here and I'm hella hyped. So I already asked you how you're doing. So let's get into, where are you from? Where are your folks from? So we can hear the lineage.
Yeah.
Like, where are we representing from?
Word. Yeah. So I'm currently in Austin, Texas, by way of San Antonio, and originally born in Mexico. So I come
Right.
hailing from Monterrey. Came to the States when I was 2 with my parents, and raised in San Antonio. I lived a little bit in H Town. Love H Town. So shout out to anybody listening from H Town. Love H Town. But yeah, for the last 5 years, I've been here in Austin, and man, it's a blessing. I love being here. It's such a diverse music city. Yeah,
I didn't know that it's only been 5 years. For some reason, I thought it was longer than that. So that's
I know.
fascinating. But
Yeah,
Texas, I was like working your way around Texas.
pretty much. I think the only 2 places I really haven't lived in, but I visit often, is El Paso and Dallas, as far as the big cities. But yeah, I lived in San Antonio, obviously lived in Houston. Now I'm in Austin. So we'll see. We'll see where life takes me later.
Right. Exciting times. So, kick it, when you're at a party, you meet someone new, they ask you, what do you do? What's your answer?
Yeah. I motivate people to dance, motivate people to have a good time. I am a DJ, and I'm also a motivational speaker. So I motivate people to get to the next level in their life. That's what I do. I love what I do. Love bringing so much joy to people through music. Yeah.
I love that. Um,
Yeah.
you're a dope DJ, but I have yet to
Thank you.
experience you live at an event. That's on my bucket list, because I
Yeah.
hear nothing but great things. So, you're a DJ, you're a motivational speaker, but because of the communities that you and I are a part of,
Yeah.
I've heard snippets of your incredible, inspiring story that not a lot of people are privy to. So I wanted to see if you could give the folks that are listening or watching kind of like the cliff notes, like a little snippet of that story that you shared with us, about 6 months ago or so.
Yeah. I come from excuse me, I come from an immigrant family. I'm an immigrant myself. And, coming from a very conservative and Hispanic background, your life is pretty much planned out for you.
Right.
You are a woman. So as a Latina, you're going to go to school, you're going to go get married, you're going to bring me some babies. And that's it. That is the path to happiness. And that's not the case. For me, like, man, when I was little, like I've always fallen in love to the type of music like hip hop and R&B, and granted, Latino music, absolutely, because I grew up with that. I'm Latina myself. But what got me to where I'm at is breaking the rules. I've always been a rebellious person against
Right.
all of these things that were supposed to be instilled in me. Go to school. Yes, I
Hmm.
went to school, of course, but I didn't go be the traditional trade, right? A doctor, a lawyer. I went to school for marketing and now I'm a DJ, right? But then also too sharing my story, again breaking the rules of you're not supposed to tell anybody your business. Nobody needs to
Right.
know your struggles. Nobody needs to know what we dealt with in this family. That's supposed to stay between us. So for me, it's always breaking the rules, failing and failing big and falling in love with failing, because when you fail, you learn so much about yourself. You learn about what you like, what you don't like, maybe try something different. And that has been my path versus go to school, get married and have kids. You know what I mean? And me being a hip hop head, like that type of music just fueled me because
Right.
hip hop is from the streets. Hip hop is about breaking rules. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know if you want to even share, but how you were an athlete, a
Yeah.
boxer, and what
Yeah.
happened to you. And I think knowing you for the short amount of time, but feels like I've known you a lifetime, because I'll get into later like how we're connected on so many different levels.
Yeah.
That I think that speaks volumes of your soul and your character, and why you're here today doing all these things, breaking all the barriers. Like you said, you're a rule breaker, right? Like you have this rebellious nature to go against the grain. And I think the world needs those types of people. So if you feel so inclined to kind of share a little bit of that story that you shared with us, like 6 months ago, that I was just
Yeah.
like, what? And I was like, oh, that
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So I was a boxer for 15 years, and there's this mantra that I still carry from boxing to this day. And I think it translates not only in the ring, but in business, outside of the ring, etc. And it's if you're not training, someone else is training to kick your ass. So
Ooh,
whatever it is that you want to do, someone else is going after that thing. So when
right.
you're not working towards that thing, someone else is going to get it before you. And so I've been in boxing. Well, I was a boxer for about 15 years and I love the sport. Until one day, I didn't listen to doctor's orders. I had injured my back at a job, broke my back. And 2 weeks later, after I was told, hey, don't go work out, lay off the boxing just for a little bit so your back can kind of heal, I still went in and we sparred and I ended up breaking my back. And so I was
Oh,
out for 6 years. This was at the height of my boxing career. I had just won my first Golden Glove championship. I was getting ready to fight my opponent again. It was like our rematch. Like I was getting ready for a bunch of stuff. And yeah, it put me out for 6 years. And in those 6 years, life was freaking hard. I was in a very toxic relationship. It was very non-supportive, but supportive when it was convenient for them.
mm,
I had just came out to my parents a couple of years back, so that relationship was also very broken. You know what I mean? And I was just in a
right.
really bad spot because to me, boxing was my identity. Boxing was everything to me. Boxing was my spot to go to when the world wasn't listening to me, when me and my mom
Mm,
beefed because of her beliefs in, the Bible versus who I am. And whenever me and my, well, now ex at the time, at now, when we would beef, that was my safe space because I was able to just let out all that anger. And so for that to be stripped from me, I was in such a bad place to a point where I almost, disclaimer, I almost ended it all myself. You know what I mean? And what got me through that was an image of my goddaughter. And my goddaughter at that time, she was little. She must have been like 3 or 4. And I found the picture recently when I went to my mom's
you did?
house. Yeah, I found the pictures. I have to send it to you. But
Yes,
it's
please.
I'm crouched down and it's her with her little hands and she's like, doing the little showing off her muscles, and then me too. And I remember seeing that image. Why that image was so powerful to me. This is my goddaughter. This is not my biological daughter. But why that was important to me was because she hears it every single day what she's supposed to be.
Right.
And for me to be that example for her, how could I leave this world and leave her with no example? Leave her with teaching her that there is something more outside of the hood in Mexico. You could be so much more than what your parents are telling you.
Right.
So I'm fortunate that I was unsuccessful in my attempt to end it all. And I worked hard. I worked really hard to get back in the ring. I remember seeing this stop sign at a distance, and I was like, man, I'm going to try and walk to that stop sign. Y'all, I could not walk. That is how bad my back was broken. So I was like, I'm going to try and walk, even with a walk or whatever. And every day I tried. And I was like, I'm going to get to that stop sign. I'm going to get to that stop sign. Long story short, I kept at it over and over again for months on end. And every time I got to that stop sign, what is it going to take to get to the next one and the next one and the next one? So if you see where I'm going with this from a business and a life perspective, when you see that stop sign, do what it takes to get there. When you get there, what's the next thing? And what's the next thing? What's the next thing? So to end it all on a happy note, I went back into the ring about 7 years later. It took me a year to recover, to get back in the field. And I won not only 2 Golden Glove championships, but I got a third one. Years later, got into powerlifting, broke my own state records. And to this day, my best squat is like 467 pounds. So again, this is again rebelling and going against what the doctor had told me. This is going to be your life. You're never going to walk again. You're never going to work out again. And I'm like, the
Right.
hell I am. There
Right.
has to be a way. So yeah, yeah. And
That's
there's so much more of that story,
incredible.
but for time's sake, that's in a
Right.
nutshell what what happened to me. You know what I mean?
That's crazy. So if you want to hear like the nitty-gritty parts of her story, hire her. You know what I'm saying? Hire her for the
Yeah,
motivational speaking spots because her story is incredible. You are literally the comeback kid. You know what I'm saying? Not a
man.
broken
Yeah,
leg, not a broken hand. We're talking about a back.
yeah.
Like
You know how
a
embarrassing
back.
it is that you can't even bathe yourself? You have to rely on somebody to bathe
Ugh.
you. You can't
Ugh.
even sleep. You can't walk. At that time I was like 21, 22 years old, and
Ooh.
I'm trying to borrow my grandma's walker. Like that sucked.
Híjole.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Now, yeah, I'm walking, running, lifting, all that good stuff, but at the same time, like I had to make a decision. Do I want to just sit in the couch all day and watch life pass me by and not do anything to get better, to heal, and just sit back and be like, okay, well, the doctor said take some meds or whatever? I would not be here today. But you
No.
have to rebel at some point and be like, no, something's got to give within reason, right? I'm not going to go
Right.
try and run a marathon with a broken back. Of course not.
Right.
But do what I can because even that shocked the doctor. It's like, I didn't
Right.
know that you were gonna get better. I was like, of course you didn't.
Of
You know what I mean?
course.
Yeah.
Good thing I didn't listen to your punk ass. No,
Yeah.
it's very inspiring. And when you shared that story with us in the group that we were at the setting we were, I was like, man, I go that said so much. Like that makes sense to me because you're a DJ, right? You're a motivational speaker, like you said. Like you motivate folks. Like we're not talking about like a lame ass DJ here. We're talking about a DJ that understands the music, understands the genres, knows the history. But on top of that, if you're a really good DJ, not just a selector, but a really good DJ, you motivate the crowd to dance. You read the
Mm.
room, right?
Yeah.
You read the
Yeah.
room. You play the music accordingly to fit the situation. You're also on the mic, right? You're also
Yes.
the MC of the situation, whether it's a
Yeah.
wedding, whether it's a corporate gig, whether it's like, your birthday party that I'm super bummed that I missed. And so
I know, my Taurus sister, man. We needed you there.
right, right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So if you guys don't know, we're born on the same exact day, 10 years
Yeah.
apart, right?
Yeah.
Tauro Club, gang, gang. But
Gang,
almost,
gang.
almost to like the minute. It's crazy when we were like, when's your birthday? Da-da-da. What? But you
Yeah.
have a day in Austin for those that are not in Austin and are not knowing, you have DJ Kick It Day. What day is that?
That is May 17th, y'all. Man, blessings. Man, yes. crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy what can happen if you trust yourself and you work
Right.
hard. You
Right.
manifest that. And can I cuss?
Of course. Please
Okay,
believe it.
you manifest that shit, but you work for it. Because there's a difference. You can't just say, "Oh, I'm gonna, have my own day," which I never manifested that. That is such a blessing. But you
Right.
say, "Okay, I'm gonna go DJ at this place, or I'm gonna reach this level of my career." Well, you got to work for that shit. I'm not just gonna
Right.
put it on the journal. Like I'm gonna put it on the journal and I'm gonna get to work. And
Right.
I feel blessed. I feel blessed that the city recognized me in that way.
Amazing. Yeah, because I think that's probably another reason why I thought you had been there longer than 5 years. Do you know what I'm saying? Because the city was
Yeah.
recognizing you, and I was like, oh, maybe she's been there for a while. But yeah, no, it's amazing. And I was like, oh, that makes sense that we're both the
Yeah.
same day, 10 years apart. No, it's a blessing to
Yeah.
see it. So, being an athlete, being a DJ, how did that cross over to becoming a motivational speaker?
Oh man, that's a really good question. There's a lot of life metaphors in sports and in
Right,
business.
right.
And those are two things that you just cannot hide from. Like those
Mm.
two things will expose who you really are, and that's sports and business.
Right,
Do you see what I'm saying? Because in
right.
sports, there is a winner, there's a loser. And how
Mhm.
you win or how you lose is how you show up. Right? You show up with your best A game, you're more than likely going to win. And even if you show up with your best A game and you lose, bro, you gave it your all and you
Right.
learn from that. And so that's the same thing in business. Now I've always been a music head since I was like 3 or 4. When we first moved here to this country, like I remember trying to stay glued to the TV for as long as the cable could withstand cuz we were kind of borrowing, stealing the cable from our neighbors back in the day in the hood. But I was
As
trying to
one
stay up
does,
and
as one does.
I mean, we gotta do what you gotta do. But like
Right.
I was glued to the TV watching MTV, all the music videos and learning and locking myself in my room and just really immersing myself in sounds from Tribe Called Quest,
Right.
Marvin Gaye. This is Michael Jackson back here. You can really see his face. Biggie
Oh,
at
yeah.
that time. Like really immersing myself in this music. I got DMX on me now. And that's always carried with me. And obviously with music, like it motivates you to do better in the gym. I'm not gonna listen to
Right.
no BS music. I'm gonna listen to some DMX, some Jay-Z to lift this weight or to kick some ass. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? I've been a drummer when I was in high school. So again, that music root has always just been there for me, even in during my sports career.
Right. Yeah, so I think, I mean, we're born on the same fucking day, 10 years apart, and I always say music saved my life, but really hip hop saved my life, right? We've
Yeah,
had
yeah.
discussions like this, and so being that music, there's always been like a soundtrack to your life.
Mm.
What was that moment? What was that root that was the moment in your life that said, "Oh, I want to be a DJ. So let me start this path."
Oh, yeah. No, that's a good question. What got me started as a DJ was honestly through an app. So it
Oh,
wasn't like
really?
this huge thing. Yeah, it got me there was an app that came up on like my MySpace, Facebook, like ad feed or something. I know I said
Yeah.
MySpace. I'm totally aging myself. But yeah, it came up and it was like, "Hey, did you know you could be a DJ?" And I'm like, "Oh, let's see what this is." And again, always having that music theory in my mind and knowing how to count and pitches and all that stuff. I was like, oh shit, this is fun and I'm actually pretty good at it. But what I will say is the soundtrack or the album that started it all for me was Boys to Men, the 2 album. When I heard and when I was introduced to like that new jack swing type of feel
Mm.
with like their melodies and how they freaking so easily harmonized, I was like, what is this music? And R&B. And B. And then obviously the new jack swing into like hip hop and it just started everything for me. Yeah.
That's amazing. Um, One of the songs I think was like our high, like because I'm 10 years older than you. One of the Boys to Men songs, I can't remember which one. I think that was like our senior high school song or something like that. Maybe the end of the road or something. No say, but
Oh man, one of them
it,
sad songs.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was like one of those. Like, oh, um. So on top of everything that you do, DJ, motivational speaker, all these different things, you got your own day. I see that there's always a giving back component. Why is that
Yeah.
so important?
Because I remember what that felt like to not have anything. We grew up poor as fuck, like
Right.
poor. And I'm talking about like we didn't even have furniture. Like a paint bucket that we found outside was my chair. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? Like I would
Yeah.
borrow my dad's shirts as blankets. Like we came from nothing. And I
Right.
remember what it felt like for someone to give us a helping hand. I remember what it felt like for that blue Santa that came through during Christmas because my parents signed up for, this low income Christmas toy drive program. And I
Mm.
remember what that felt like for someone to come through the door and be so nice enough to bring us a toy or to bring me a toy. My brother wasn't born yet, right? But I remember what that felt like for people just to give a helping hand. And I also know what it feels like to be poor as shit, to
Right.
come from nothing. You know what I mean? And so for
Right.
me, it's super important to give back because it's sharing that piece of you. It's sharing your heart with people. It feels so freaking good.
Right.
Recently I did in December, this past December, I did a toy drive, and this is for an organization that actually helped me and my family when we were growing up. And
Ah.
I have a whole nother story for that. But anyway, so I helped them out and they said, we're past the due date to distribute the toys, but we're going to save them for the kids' graduation. Would you like to be a part of that later in May or June? I was like, absolutely. Fast forward to a few months ago, they invited me. Man, I see these kids' faces. I'm giving them the toys that I grabbed from the Target shelf, that people came to the bar and donated bags and bags of teddy bears. And to see their face light up, it was like I was seeing
Ah.
myself when I
Ah.
was a kid. And the parents are like, muchísimas gracias por esta donación. And I'm like, that's what my parents sounded like. So
Right.
I could be an egotistical person and be like, hey, come listen to me DJ and I'm doing
Yeah.
this and I'm doing that. But to me, it's also important to give back. Cause man,
Right.
I'm human at the end of the day. I have my own story too. And to see this community's face was a reflection of what I had gone through and also gratitude of how far I've come. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, it's a win-win all around, and I
Yeah.
think that just like how you said, you know, as an athlete in business, it kind of there's no hiding who you really are. Like it shows your true self. And I
Yeah.
think this speaks volumes because, I always talk about those of us that grew up with nothing, right? With jack
Hmm.
shit.
Hmm.
Example, a cousin of mine who was like my brother, we grew up in the same situation. We lived together, right? Because we had to. Um I'm in the I appreciate everything because I didn't have anything and I want to give
Hmm.
back. And then he went, oh, I never had anything, so I want to keep up with the Joneses and did you know what I'm saying? Like you
Mm.
can there's a fork in the road when we're an adult and we're going to start our life. But
Yeah.
I feel like it speaks volumes that you didn't have anything, you came from this and you remember that and you don't want I don't want anyone else to feel that. Like I want the resource to like it's amazing that that resource that helped you is still around and
Yeah.
it's a full circle moment that you were a
Hmm.
part of it. And to
Yeah.
to go even further on what speaking on your character, you had your 40th birthday party and with
Mhm.
and I would because I don't live there, I was bummed, but I saw how thoughtful that even was because you were like, bring some shoes to donate.
Yeah. Yeah. Because even still, that's also part of my story. I know what that's like to not have shoes, just the basic necessity of shoes. It's super sanitary for people to walk around with shoes. It's a health thing. Like you don't want to walk around barefooted because it's dangerous, not only health wise,
Right.
but you may hurt yourself, etc. Right.
Right.
So yeah, like I could have made it about myself and said, you know what, this is DJ Kick It Day. This is to celebrate me. I'm turning 40. This is a big milestone for me. Absolutely. That's not to minimize who I am and what I've done.
Right.
But at the same time, I love sneakers. DJ Kick It. It's an ode to Tribe Called Quest, but I also love kicks. I also love sneakers. So yeah, I partnered with a nonprofit called Thriftish. And the cool thing that they do is they actually set up mobile thrift shopping experiences for the
Mm.
homeless and for other women. I hope I'm saying this right, women battered shelters, different shelters around the city.
Right.
Granted, they get a shopping experience, they don't buy anything. They just pick out
Right.
what they want. But the way they set it up is so beautiful because these are people that live in the streets. When are you gonna see them at the mall shopping?
Gracias for listening or watching Word to Your Mama. I have a unique cross section of guests on here because I'm a purpose driven creative consultant who thrives at the intersection of creative innovation, technology, and community impact. There are a few ways we could work together, so check out ritzyperiwinkle.com to learn more.
You know what I'm
Right,
saying? So they
right.
bring this to them. So I partnered with them and yeah, I wanted people to come and bring gently used shoes. I don't care if they were chanclas, I don't care if they're boots, I don't care if they're sneakers, but these are shoes that are just rotting away in your closet and there's people out there that need them. So bring them. Let's have a good time. When you bring them, we're gonna give you a discount on your drink, etc. Let's wild out. Let's have a good time to some 90s music, which is my favorite genre. But it was a beautiful thing, and I'm still getting pictures from the organization when they actually give out these shoes, and you see these
Ah,
people so excited and sharing and showing off the shoes that
ah,
they just got, and I'm like, "Fuck, I remember all that." You know what I
right.
mean? So, yeah, man, super important to not always think about yourself. And I
Mm-hmm.
will add one more thing. You said it was
Sí,
your
sí.
cousin that okay. For me, I've never been an egotistical person. I've never been about brands or anything like that. A good brand is great, but that's just never been my thing. But what humbled me was I lost everything. I was in a bad relationship with this last bad relationship that I was talking about, and I lost everything. I lost my house. I
Oh,
lost my job. I
oh,
lost my 401k.
oh,
So I will say that it humbled me because up until that point, I was making good money. I was able
right.
to buy I still had clothes in the closet that had tags. And
Mm,
until you're in a position where you're like, "Shit, I gotta sell things, I gotta do this just to make ends meet," that shit will humble the hell out of you.
right,
So, it reminded me again, like, all this stuff is just material things, and again, it's never been a problem to give back, but ever since that experience over a decade ago, even more reason, man, take the shirt off my back. You need it
right.
more than I do. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, definitely. I remember I was always embarrassed because I wouldn't get hardly get new clothes. I would go swap meet
Mhm.
maybe. That was nice as shit. But the most like majority of my clothes was hand-me-downs from my cousins from up north. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Like donations, just like you. And so for me, I consider myself the viceroy of value. Ask anybody. Like I love a good deal. Like I love a good
Mhm.
deal. Like brand names
Yeah,
don't mean anything. I love quality and I love a good deal. And I'm the first
yeah.
person like, oh, I like that shirt. Got it on sale. Like
Okay,
I'm always
yeah.
like 50%
Same.
off with the extra coupon and an extra coupon.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
that's me, the viceroy of value. And I feel like looking back when I was, especially when you're a teen and your hormones and you're, trying to compete with the peeps. I hated it. I hated it. I remember I was so
Mhm.
upset. But as you grow up and as you become an adult and you have to spend your own
Yeah.
fucking money
Yeah.
and make your
Yeah.
own money.
Yeah. I wore cheerleading shoes for years when I was little because my mom would get hand-me-downs from the high school that she worked at. And these are, teams that were throwing away their shoes. And for a while, like I would be wearing cheerleading shoes and man, I got picked on left and right all the fucking time. Now, absolutely, I can afford my own J's and all that good stuff. And
Right.
don't get me wrong, I love me a good pair of J's, right? And I will spend money where I feel that it's worth something. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like
Right.
my records and obviously it's my business, but yeah, man, it took something like that to be like, man, oh, this shit is superficial. Like, and I love giving back. I really do. As much as I can, I love to do it. However, I can embed it in my events. I love to do it.
I love that. I love that about you. And also, I'm just thinking about another way we're connected, with our birthday and music and all these things.
Yeah.
But I remember when my last corporate job in the music industry, I was next to the touring department, and this one guy, I forget his name, but he was from the South, and his nickname for me was Kicks. He's like, "What up, Kicks?" Because I would
Oh,
always
that's
have like
cool.
a new brand, a new pair of kicks, but they weren't new. They were, discounted or something like that. But everyone's like, "Oh, those are the flyest kicks." I was like, "Yeah, because
Yeah.
they're like in the from the outlets or something that you never
Yeah.
see." But anyways, okay, so let's get into the questions and comments from the audience. First
Okay.
one, kick it. You
Yo.
are your magic lies in providing that motivation to so many of us through your DJ skills and through your speaking. We are so grateful for your gifts and talents. We all want to know, how do you stay motivated through the ups and downs of life? That is our friend, our cohort sister, and previous Word to Your Mama guest, Cristina Olivares, founder of Hustle and
Hey.
Socialize.
Yeah, shout out to Christina, man. She's the one that I spoke recently at one of her conferences, and it
You
was
killed. You
magical.
killed.
It was dope. And I got to DJ too, so that was fun. That was a
Right.
lot of fun. But how I stay motivated is a few things, man. I've learned to manage my time better. And when I manage my time better, I give myself time back. And when I feel
Mm,
stressed out, I feel unmotivated to hop on the decks and practice, I go for a walk. And believe it or
mm,
not, I go on a walk and I don't listen to music. I listen to a
mm.
podcast. I listen to a podcast. I listen to your podcast. I listen to Wendy's podcast. And at
Right.
times, like, I listen to nothing and I just listen to the streets, what's going on in my neighborhood. And it's just me and my dog, and we just chilling, we just walking. Because man, like it's so good to move and get out of your space sometimes and just step away from everything so you can just get some clarity.
Right.
Working out gives me a lot of clarity too. A lot of creative juices happen from there. um but it's also giving grace. I know that sounds very cliche, but giving grace to
It's
yourself. Like,
truth.
why am I
Yeah.
feeling unmotivated? And sometimes that lack of motivation for me, what I've realized, comes from being exhausted.
Yeah.
I have gigs sometimes where they're not just bar gigs of like 3 or 4 hours. Sometimes I have weddings and they're 10 hours out of my day, right? And sometimes I have events that are back to back to back, and it's exhausting. And so sometimes it's really just taking a step away from everything, giving yourself grace, be like, man, this lack of motivation is coming from because I'm tired. And I'll
Right.
just go kick it on the couch and watch some ratchet shit on TV, loving hip hop. I'll watch some YouTube videos, something that has nothing to do with nothing. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah. Easy
Um,
breezy.
yeah, I just kick it. I just kick it, right? I just chill. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, but I stay motivated because of the things that I've been able to accomplish against all
Right.
the odds, including the things that were against me, my family that was against it. And not everybody, right? Because there's so many people in my family that truly support me, but those negative folks that never supported me, people that still to this day that kind of don't support me, but I see you. I see you,
Right.
motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Like, that shit motivates me because I'm making a
Yeah.
difference. I'm being the person that little me needed.
Yes.
You know what I
Please
mean?
believe it. Please
Word.
believe it. Please believe it. Ne- next question is kind of similar, but I
Okay.
think it's a little bit, on a different scenario. What keeps her going when shit gets tough? And this is from founder of Las Ofrendas, activist culture bearer, TK.
Yeah. What up, TK? Fam.
Fam.
Yeah, man. What keeps me going when things get tough? Again, it's looking at the things that I've overcome. I told you I overcame my back being broken. I
Right.
overcame almost committing suicide.
Yeah.
I overcame a fucking bankruptcy that was not my fault. I overcame losing my whole apartment a few years back during the Texas snowstorm and
Ooh.
getting put out of my apartment. I was homeless. My wife and I were homeless. We were displaced because our whole place had flooded. And a lot of my records that you don't see here were gone.
Hijo.
Gone. Warped
Ah.
records, flooded, flooded,
Ooh.
flooded, flooded, gone.
Ooh.
Last year, I was laid off from my corporate job. And now looking back, I'm like, thank God. But at that time, I was like, fuck, this is a six-figure job and we just got a house. And what are we going to do? And you know what I mean? And then 2 months later, into entrepreneurship, I broke my toe and I could not DJ and I didn't have medical insurance. So I've gone through some shit that is tough. And
Right.
and there's still many more things that I have yet to disclose to the public. that I have gone through, that I have overcome some really dark things.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But being able to overcome these things is a reminder to myself, you're going through something tough. You're going through a slow month. You're going through a death in the family. You're going through this. Give yourself time to feel what you're feeling. The worst
Yeah.
thing I've ever done is to try and rush what I'm feeling. If I'm
Mm-hmm.
pissed, I'm going to be pissed. And I talk
Yeah.
to my wife, I'm like, I'm angry today. I'm not feeling anybody right now. So I just want to let you know, tread lightly. And her and I
Right.
we're at a point now where our communication is like this. So she'll be like, okay,
Nice.
let me know when you're hungry. I got you. Let me know when you
Right.
need your space. Let me know when you want a hug or you want to talk. Don't take but 5 minutes. I'm like, I want a hug. You know what I'm saying? I want a hug from you. But yeah, the worst thing I ever did was try to rush what the fuck I'm feeling. I feel my feels.
Yeah.
I write it out.
Right.
And then I got to keep going little by little. I lost my fucking dog, my first dog ever. Like that was so hard. And then I lost my grandma all in my birthday weekend
Ooh.
in 2018. So that's what I'm
Ooh.
saying. Like,
Yeah.
trust, I've gone through some shit, and I know people are listening are probably going through something now. And the
Yeah.
only thing I can advise anyone is do not rush what you're feeling, regardless of what's going on around you. Feel what you're fucking feeling. And little by little, take your steps to keep going because you're working towards something.
Yes. Yes. For sure. Because feel the feelings. Because if you try to avoid it, the body keeps the score.
Yes.
I've been there. You've probably been there. I mean, the similarities keep coming up because, as you said, there was a moment in time where you almost gave up on life. That moment happened to me as well.
Mm,
And I forget about it sometimes. I forget about it sometimes. But
yeah.
then I think like, oh, like good thing, like you said, good thing that didn't go through. One thing I didn't complete because
Yeah.
we're here
Yeah.
now and we're talking and we're making an impact. You're making a significant impact, DJ Kick It. And so
Thank you.
thank you so much. So let's get into the not so rapid fire questions, the AKA slow as hell questions. Are you ready,
Okay.
DJ Kick It?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
3 words to describe yourself.
Energetic, fun,
Hmm.
street.
Please believe it. Please believe it on the street. Please
What?
believe it on 3, but please believe it that you added on the street because I need
Yeah.
that in the peoples that I love. A little bit of
Yeah.
street for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Um, what's the best piece of advice you've received?
Trust yourself. It's
Mm,
all in your head. Trust
mm,
yourself. Trust
yes.
yourself. It is all
Trust
in your head.
yourself.
Block out the noise. Trust yourself.
That's what I was about to say. Block out the noise because
Yeah.
when you're like on on the fence and you're letting other voices enter your head and really enter your soul, then you can't hear you can't hear your own voice. You can't hear
Yeah.
that inner voice, that gut feeling or whatever. Like you can't hear because you let all this other external factors come in, but like you said, shut the noise, trust
Yeah.
yourself. That's it. Like that is
Yeah.
it's simple, but it's hard as fuck sometimes.
Yeah, and you know what? And the universe has a beautiful way of telling you and
Yeah.
showing you
Mhm.
why, though you need to block out the noise. And a
Right.
lot of these things, some people may mean well when they give you advice or when they want to like hold space for you, whatever that looks like, right? But sometimes it's their insecurities and their fears projecting on you because they
Please
did it
believe
and
it.
they failed and they didn't try to do it again. Or
Right.
they've seen so and so fail at whatever it is. So, yeah, it trust yourself. And if you fuck up, then you fuck up. And what can you do differently? You know what I mean?
That you learn from your mistakes. That's
Yeah,
how the best things ever in this world, the inventions, the scientific advancements,
word.
mad failures, but that's how they
Yeah.
got to the next point. So,
Yep.
this one I was super excited to ask you, what song is your go-to to get hyped when you need it?
Oh man. PSA, Jay-Z. Allow me to
PSA Jay-Z.
reintroduce myself. Yes, that
Mm,
fucking song.
mm,
I'm
mm,
like,
mm,
bitches,
mm.
I'm coming. Yes. There's so many others, but that one never fails. Never,
That's a
never fails.
classic. That's like top tier
Oh,
number
hell yeah.
one.
Hell yeah. I've walked out to that song so many fucking times. I'm like, yeah, let's go. Yeah. That fucking song still to this day. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's going to be added to the Word to Your Mama guest hype list, hype song list. I always mess up the name, but it's every guest who's ever been on. We have all of their songs compiled. I think Jay-Z's on there for sure, but I don't think
Yeah.
that song is on there.
Yeah.
So it's added on there. But we got everything, folks. We got like Billy Joel to Jay-Z to Fetty Wap
Okay.
to
Oh, I gotta hear this.
salsa. We
Hey.
got it's like 4 hours long. Play it and it's like all over the place. We got Elton John and shit on there. It's like it's amazing. It's pretty
Wow.
amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, side questions. This is an extra question because I
Yeah.
just tweeted this today because I was thinking, you're a DJ, you love music. What do you consider old school? How old does a song or album have to be old school to you?
Ooh. I would probably say we're in 2024.
See,
I would say something like 2010 and under. That's what I
2010
would
and
say.
under.
20
Okay.
so now like 2002s, 2005s,
Right.
break my
Early
heart, but now
twos.
that's considered old school. I'm like, ah, oh God, my heart. I still get excited when someone cards me and then they burst my bubble and they're like, "Oh, I just have to ask you." I'm like, "Bitch,
Right.
just roll with it. When you get to my age, you're gonna understand." But anyway, I would say anything like 2010 and under, I would consider old school. I mean, definitely the shit that I grew up on, Biggie, Tribe Called Quest,
Right. That's old
absolutely
school
old
for
school.
sure. But
Yeah,
yeah, I was just
but
thinking about like what is it 10 years? Is it 14, 15, is it 15, 20? Like it's interesting to see what each person individual considers old school because I
mhm,
had to do a playlist for my niece when she was applying to colleges. And she's like, could you make me an old school like hype song playlist? I was like, hell yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, anything that's like over 10, 15 years for her. This was like
mhm,
5 years ago. So now I'm
mhm,
listening to it and I'm listening to it's like today I was like, let me go listen to Run the Jewels 2, like classic album.
yeah,
And I was like, I haven't
mhm,
listened to that in a long time. And I was like, oh shit, that came out in 2014. I'm like, is that old school? Like, is that old school now? Maybe
yeah,
it's on the cusp. Maybe it's on the cusp. So,
yeah.
final question, DJ Kick It. What will be your legacy?
Oh man. My legacy will be how I made people feel. And that is a
Mm,
loaded statement because how I made you feel when I spoke at an
mm,
event, how I made you feel when I played your favorite song on the dance floor,
mm.
how I make you feel just even in this conversation alone when I'm talking to someone. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah,
think that's what it's gonna be. You can bury me with all my accolades and all that stuff. People are probably gonna forget DJ Kick It Day, but they're never gonna forget how DJ Kick It made them feel. And
right.
that's warm, that's exciting, that's energetic. We kicked it, we had a bunch of laughs. That's what you're gonna remember. You remember the other stuff, that's great, that's amazing. But you're always gonna remember how it made you feel.
No,
Yeah.
I love that. I remember how you made me feel, and I don't want to start crying. There's a personal moment, and you said something to me, and you said, you're like a hip hop song. And I think you knew how, like, crazy hip hop, what it means to me. And knowing that it
Yeah.
means so much to you, and you saying that to me, I remember I was laughing because like so many amazing things were said. But I was just
Mhm.
like,
Yeah, I do
this
remember
one
that.
thing, I was just like, oh shit. I remember because I was like, that embodies everything because, like hip hop, it really saved my life. And I have everything that I love, that I cherish in my life because of hip hop. And
Yeah.
to have someone like you, and a lot of this is the moans too, kids, because I'm perimenopausal, but someone like you who gets it, I feel like same birthday, we come from similar backgrounds. I mean, we fortunate enough to be at that darkest moment and say nah, and want to make an impact and want to give back, and didn't allow us growing up with hardly anything go to that other fork in the road where, we want to always overcompensate because we didn't have it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, we're fucking still Tauruses and we like the finer things in life. Like, we
Okay.
like to
Yeah.
find things, please
Yep.
believe it. But you know
Exactly.
what
And
I'm
we're
saying? Like,
stubborn and we're hard headed, all
you
that.
know what I'm saying? But we're not like defined by like always having to have like name brands and all that shit. But
Right.
and then for you to say that, like, and understanding music is such a huge part and motivator, hip hop. I mean, we're not fair weather hip hop fans. We're not the ones who loved it in high school and left it in adulthood. Like,
Hmm.
always a part of me. And that thing about street, that was something that I had to have in my partner. It was like,
Mm.
I need someone that could be like me. I can be in a highfalutin type of joint and know how to act accordingly, but also fit in and be myself
Yeah.
and navigate that, right? But I
Yeah.
also need someone that knows how to navigate the street. I need
Yeah.
someone that's going to be respected in the street, who's
Hmm.
not going to be afraid
Yeah.
and knows how to navigate the street, because that's another skill that I don't think people understand. Because if you have that skill, and let me know if you feel the same way, because of how I grew up, because of all the different levels of hoods that I was a part of,
Hmm.
it gave me the skills to navigate the hood of business. The hood.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And you know what, this conversation also reminds me of this famous line: to be able to pivot from one mindset to another is, I ain't a killer, but don't push me. You see
Please
what I'm saying?
believe it.
To be
Please
mature
believe it.
enough to be in these spaces that don't look like us and hold yourself together, but also remind people when you need to, I'm not a killer, but don't push me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's why I fucking love hip hop, because it's so real. It's the voice of the street. It's the voice of um the suppressed, the marginalized communities. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? And
You're
it
right.
irks the shit out of me when these lyrics are used against us. It irks the
Mhm.
shit out of me when they're taken out of context, because you don't know the shit that we've been through, but you want to dictate the things that we're going to be doing. No, miss me with
Yeah,
that. And so,
exactly.
yeah, to your point, like, I see you, sis. I see you. You and I have experienced the same thing, Taurus gang all day.
All
And that's why I
day.
say you're like a hip hop song, because we are that voice of the street. You know what I'm saying? We're the
Yes,
voice of the
yeah.
street, and we stand up for those that are suppressed, how would you say, marginalized communities. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So we
Right.
we are that. You know what I mean? That's why
We are
that's why
that.
I had to tell you that day.
Thank you. And vice versa.
Word.
Like, we're reflections of each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, total reflections. And, I only surround myself with quality peoples. Like, I've healed enough to where I surround myself with quality peoples. Still on the
Yeah.
healing
Same.
journey, but still, like, quality peoples all around. So, DJ Kike, muchísimas gracias. Let the folks know that are watching or
Yeah.
listening how they can get a hold of you.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So you can stay up to date with the latest and greatest. Please follow me on Instagram. I am at DJ Kick It 17. 17 like our birthdays. DJ Kick It 17, like DJ Kick It Day. Yes, DJ Kick It 17 on Instagram. And then also, if you want to learn more about me, go to my website. It's djkickit.com. You can book me there for DJ services, and you can also book me there to have me come speak with your peoples. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Please believe it. So we were both part of Cristina Olivares' Hustle and Socialize that happened in the beginning of June this year in San
Yeah.
Antonio
So
on the
powerful.
24th floor of the Frost Tower. Please
With that
believe it.
view though,
That view, that view.
can't
And
even whistle right.
you,
I'll get it.
you,
I'll get it
you,
together.
you started, she came out and then you were like the motivational speaker that kind of jumped it all off. You were spinning in the
Yeah.
beginning and then you were the motivational speaker. You killed. Like,
Thank you.
to see you in your zone, to the zone of genius and doing what you were meant to do. You got the crowd of Black, brown, and other marginalized communities of women, entrepreneurs, women that were thinking about being entrepreneurs. I mean, it was just already a really great, inclusive, safe space vibe. But for you to be that person to set it off, and for those that are watching or listening that know me or that have grown to know me, you know that I don't bullshit. You know that I don't just say shit
Mm,
just to say it. Like, I'm
Thank
talking
you.
about she killed, brought
Yeah,
the
thank
house
you.
down, like standing O at the end. So book her to spin, book her to speak, book her for a tour. Don't miss out.
Yeah.
Don't miss out.
Thank you.
So
Yo, to transition from that morning to DJ, and I'm like, okay, I'm bringing in the vibes, everybody's dancing, getting their coffee, getting their seat, to like, okay, now I
yeah,
gotta speak to you. Now I gotta motivate you. Now I gotta freaking like rip my freaking heart open and share these really like intense moments of my life with you to motivate you to be a better person and be a better,
right.
entrepreneur. It's like, whew, I had to take the rest of that day off. Oh, actually, no, I had an event that
No,
night. So
you
it's
had
like,
to leave because you couldn't even stay the whole time.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the Sunday, I don't even know what the hell I did. Girl, all I know is at some point I had to take a whole day because I was like, whew, that was a lot.
Right.
But I needed that. And I'm sure a lot of people needed to, but
No,
it was
no,
beautiful. Oh, it
it
felt
was
so good
great.
to release all that. Yeah.
I was front row, and there's like video
Oh, I saw
of you even
you
going
there.
like, "Oh yeah,"
Uh,
I was
you were
doing all
my
the.
sitcom audience, the perfect sitcom audience member. Like when you watch them sitcoms from back in the day, they're like, "Ooh, yes, that was Ritzy." So you need to get Ritzy in your corner. You got hypes up some people, but no, you did it genuinely. You didn't fake it, and I
No, no,
love
I
that.
didn't fake
So
it. It was
thank
like
you.
because you were, yeah, saying the stuff. So
Yeah.
muchísimas gracias, DJ Kike. You're an
Oh,
amazing
thank you.
human. Thank you for, I'm so honored that I know you. I'm so honored that you're part of my tribe and that, we've done a lot of work together. And I'm excited to continue to build. And, for sure, hopefully within the next year, girl, I'm going to go to one of your events
Yeah,
and
same. And
I'm
I'm
going to
coming to
really kick
Cali.
it.
I
Then
gotta come to
say
Cali.
less. Say
I
less.
gotta come,
Oh
even
yeah,
if I
we're
don't
gonna
have a
make it
gig out
happen. We're
there.
talking about that shit. We're gonna make
Yeah,
it
even if
happen.
I don't have a gig, I gotta come kick it with you.
Yeah, please believe
Yeah,
it. All right,
yeah.
gracias.
All right. Peace.
Yeah. Yeah. There you have it, folks. DJ Kick It. How amazing was her story? And she only gave us like the cliff notes. And for those of you who are too young to know what cliff notes are, look it up. Look it up. Yeah. Amazing time. I mean, as you can see, the parallels to our stories are so similar. And she's 10 years younger than me. She's already made such a huge impact, and I'm super excited to see her trajectory and see the even more of a bigger impact she's going to be making. She's just contributing to this world. But and also, when the time comes that I finally make it to one of her DJ gigs, it's going to be epic. It's going to be epic. I might have to like do it live or something like that. But yes, anyways, so I don't know where in the rest of the year this episode lands, but I'm doing this right now, letting you know, a reminder that Word to Your Mama is going to seasons. It's a lot of work, folks, because I schedule, I do the interviews, I do the editing, I do this, I do all the things. So because of how, as an entrepreneur, what I'm doing, everything is, evolving. I want to make sure that I continue to provide quality situations here by amplifying diverse voices. And also, you can see me currently as the host of the Get Down by Butterscotch Media, where we discuss policy, industry trends, and emerging tech and how it impacts Black, Latina, and Indigenous folks in the space, because we are the ones that are really utilizing it, that mass media doesn't cover. So that is still happening as well. So I think going to seasons is going to be like the win-win, because I can do it tight. And I don't know if I'm going to go to like 6 or what the number is for the season. And then in the interim, I can play the dope folks that I've been having these convos with since 2020, because if you're new or if you haven't listened to every single episode, you could be, reacquainted with some of the amazing folks that are part of my tribe, either from the music, art, activists, or emerging tech scene. And then also I'll do little spurts here and there of some little updates. But yeah. So muchísimas gracias for always supporting, whether you're watching or you're listening. Super thankful, super grateful, if you will. And if you have any questions, if you have any recommendations, and then also if you have bought one of the shirts, send us a photo and we'll post. What does it mean to you? I am my ancestors' vengeance, because we are here not just out for self, but out for the community. So how are you your ancestors' vengeance? What does that mean to you? Supernatural Bear is doing well. I think depending on when this airs, he's already here. We're almost eye to eye. We just need to be here, eye to eye. And then I'm thinking by his birthday, for sure by the end of the year, that fool's going to be taller than me. He's only 11, kids. He's only 11. But yeah, thanks again. Leave a review, click the stars, tell your folks, tell your peeps, and tell your friends. And as always, we reap